European players, I think a lot of them, they tend to prefer just put the hours in. That's why they're probably better mechanically on the aim, only a bit. But when you've got the theory behind the coordination, the actual game strategy and knowledge, then that's where you could see that split the difference for Rafa and Dahang.
It's very exciting stuff. I know we're loading into our map, so we should be good. I believe the first map's going to be Blood Run. The reason I'm so excited here is because, you said it yourself, some of the American teams have been here for a few days. Liquid, I think, are the team that have been in EU for the longest to practice. Their sleep schedules are fine. There's no more jet lag. These guys are ready to play. But we don't get to see North America collide with EU unless it's a major LAN with big bucks on the line.
Well, let's do a catch-up. We are getting into the first map between Liquid and Cyberfight. I am on base to begin with, but you know what? I want to scoot on over
He's dead.
to the NA guys, and look at that! Early 2 kills for Cyberfight. Is this an omen of some sort?
Maybe. I know that sometimes the first frag can be oh so foreshadowing, but I would think if there's going to be a game which could be close, it surely has to be close. A stomp would be unimaginable.
Yeah, completely. Rafa does manage to get back at base. They've got no trade over there. Base shouldn't really have been on his own, especially when Agent couldn't support him then. Checking out Rafa now, one of the fan favorites pretty much at every event, but he's leaving that fight pretty weak.
Dahang's able to clean up base, so it is going to be 2 for 2. Because that's one thing about being in a team setting is not, I think, freaking out over certain frags. If there are two players that I think are going to be as cool as a cucumber when they lose a frag or two, it's going to be these guys. It's like, okay, we've lost the fight now, but there's a million other decisions and a million other fights that we can take later. Completely.
Oh, Bay's coming in. Look at the LG that he's managing to hit as well. He takes down both of the players. What on earth did I just see? They were, Rafa and Dahang were just so unprepared for that.
Is this going to be Base's tournament? That's what I'm wondering.
That would be amazing. Everything changes if that happens. Everything.
Let's not run before we can walk. I know there's only one frag difference, but
Good point.
I'm very excited to see Base right now, I have to say.
Well, we've got a power-up coming in about 25 seconds. This is the room that is going to be spawning in. It's going to be the quad damage. If you haven't seen Quake before, then it's almost in the name. Quad, 4 times the damage is what you're going to be getting from them. We're going to get a small exchange there, just moving towards the shotgun hallway. Agent does kill Dahang, but we're going to be getting fresh respawns. We've got Base now supporting Agent, but already Agent pushing out, trying to get some of this damage onto Rafa. That's going to make him kind of weak. And Base, he's got the quad.
It was very much like, I think, like an insurance policy there. Agent pushing in that far to keep Rafa away from base means that when he collects quad, he's got a ton of stack, and now they have the timing on the heavy. The issue here, actually, he's in a bit of a precarious position, and he took a lot of damage. Is he even going to be able to get a frag before he goes down?
I really like what Base is doing, though. He knows he's not entirely safe, and he's taking a lot of damage, so he's making sure he doesn't overcommit to fights. There's one on Rafa and Dahang. This is perfect from Base. Just even though the amount of pressure he was on beforehand, he never gave away that quad.
And that's going to be the... If there are two people as well that you don't want to have quad damage, it's Rafa and Dahang. We've seen how well these guys can aim, particularly actually in duel. We've seen some horrifically disgusting shots from both of these guys. If they have quad, I mean, it's over.
Oh, Rafa trying to sneak out a little bit. I think there was some totem damage on Dahang just then. Also, direct rocket. Agent, he does go down himself. Doesn't end up giving the frag to Liquid. But that was a lot of damage that he just dealt. However, Rafa and Dahang have healed up nicely.
I feel like, against the likes of Liquid as well, the goal here is going to be consistency. If they're able to consistently stay in the lead and make sure they have a 2 or 3 frag difference throughout, then ultimately they're going to be in control. But the second you make one small mistake, I feel like Liquid are the kind of guys that will run away with that, and it can just go from bad to worse.
Yeah, they can punish really, really hard. Agent and Base have got to be absolutely on point when it comes to just supporting each other in the game. Make sure they're not going into 1v2s or anything like that. Rafa and Dahang are always going to be making sure that they're there for each other. And we've got a bit of pressure down below from Base, looking over at the Mega House, but it looks like he's wanting to gear up a bit. Oh, nice shot there from Agent down below. They're already set up, like Base and Agent are here quite early. Little switch away, Base getting himself over to the nail gun. Dahang with a double killer. Let's see if I can find Dahang very quickly. He's got a lot of health and armor.
Yeah, and with the likes of Rafa nearby, even if he's fresh off the spawn, it's going to take a lot of work. I think that's actually why Cyberfight didn't try and fight for this. I think their goal is going to be, let's try and get stacked and get weapons. That's how we're going to survive this. Is it going to be enough?
And look at that, you can see Base moving away. It's like, there's no point in me trying to challenge it. I just want to stay alive. I don't want to give up pointless, unnecessary kills. Dahang's going to get himself the heavy. Gets rid of the totem, but it's now about you know, minimizing the damages now if you're Agent and Base. Weapon switches. The Hang should be switching away from a rail as soon as he can. Fortunately, he manages to chase down the hourglass hallway and still get himself a kill. 13-10.
I was just about to say, I mean, like the fact that Liquid are now starting to take the lead, Rafa coming up behind. Hopefully it doesn't start to slip away from Cyberfight. That was excellent sandwich with the LG. That's one way they do massive damage.
Base is kind of hard to get an angle from below, but fortunately for him, Agent, he's just all over it. LG going to be in the hands of Base again. And 5 minutes in, is this a start you would have expected?
Actually, to be honest with you, I thought if they were going to somewhat take down Liquid, it would have been a close fight. So the fact that it is close is, you know, it's not something that I'm going to say is surprising me, but I think if anything, it's really impressing me how Cyberfight are able to really bring it to one of the best teams in the world.
For sure. Base is very weak at the moment. You can see that Agent's under pressure. Doesn't know yet that the Hang's over there. Gonna still land an 80 damage rail. The Hang will kill him. And yeah, you can see that was a piercing sight rail from Rafa. You can see that his cooldown now is pretty much at the top.
And he was content taking that totem. You heard the totem explode, obviously meaning Rafa would have taken some damage going through the teleporter, but if you have a really impressive stack, then I think the teleporter still become usable, if you know there's no one there. You know, you don't want to take that free damage as such and lose a fight for guaranteed, but speaking of fights, we're going to see the next one at quad, I reckon. 10 seconds to go, and I feel like Liquid are starting to really somewhat run away with this.
Yeah, they're starting to get pressure. They're attacking the power-ups a little more. We saw Agent pushing out to shotgun more than he should have. He gets the LG, he just gets a 1 versus 1, but the rail from the Hang, and again. Beautiful stuff. He gets rid of the totem. He's found himself the heavy, but he's going to kill himself, actually, favoring it for Rafa.
I feel like Rafa's going to be super beneficial with those, seeing as there's totems all over the place. Rafa has a really nice amount of weapons. Doesn't need the rail if he's got quad. He's got the starting machine gun. And there's that defensive play once again. Can't take a charged rail, not with the stack that he's got. They head him off. They took the quad uncontested. And is that going to be enough to finish off to Hang? Agent's trying to head them off to get one more frag, but the quad's almost out. That should be enough to win the fight. Base coming up from behind.
Brilliant work from Base.
Here comes Base again. Oh, no. Maybe expecting Rafa to try and run out the other end, but actually Rafa doubling back and finishing off Agent. He knows he can take the fight because Agent was very nearly dead.
I gotta say, I don't really like the fact that Rafa... sorry, it was the Hang that killed himself to give the power up to Rafa. There was a heavy right in front of him. There were health bubbles as well on the side. I mean, just go ahead, unless he was afraid to really like jump over to heavy, but he jumped over to Tribal anyway. So I don't really understand that part so much, and unless they're really just trying to play it by the book and make sure that Vise is the one that's doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, we know how hard these guys have been playing their scrims, both against North America and EU. Like, I'm certain they have these kind of like strategies available where when one of us gets quad, make sure Vise has it. That might just be one of their strategies they've been adopting and it's been working out, but we'll see. Still in the lead, but not very much. Only 3 frag difference for now. So.
It isn't much. This is also a very strong map for Cyberfight. Oh, the combo just then. That was a huge amount of damage. Rafa goes down to the totem as well. Agent, he's sitting up on the power. Now, I like this early setup.
Positioning is so key right here.
Can he pressure this Mega? He knows he spawns in a couple of seconds. And they are spreading out to see if they can do some extra damage. I don't want them to move away too far from the power-up if they're to go with this.
Now, it's funny you should say that because I think that's exactly what they've just done. The second Agent pushed out and realized he was actually headed off. Even if he survived that fight, there was going to be someone on protection, probably there to finish him off. And now, they're out of control a little bit.
I think that was a big mistake from them to move out there again when they were 20 seconds before the power-up. They should have just held that room. Agent, no chance he's going to be able to contest. That is going to be a free frag for Rafa, and let's see if they can extend this lead a little bit.
Super nail gun and protection. It's a match made in heaven. Plenty of damage left, and yeah, of course, we see the teleporter used. Can Rafa get one more? Kind of talk about what we said earlier. It's all about minimizing the inevitable frags that you're going to take when the opponents have access to a power-up. And a 5 frag difference. But you know what? Talking about the difference right now, it's so consistently back and forth. But now, Liquid having the lead, they are really good at maintaining that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is one of the largest leads that we've seen them have so far over Cyberfight. It's been a very slow game, admittedly. I think when we saw Thunderhawks and Cyberfight going here, we had far more frags happening by the time we got to the 9-minute mark. But watching the Hang, he's got the Mega Health in hand, looking for some extra damage onto Agent. Good combo work from him. Obviously, he comes off not just the sacrifice winner Dreamhack wins it with Team Liquid, but also he won the duel. So
that was an immaculate tournament for Dahang.
It was
absolutely
a dream tournament for him, and I expect him to definitely have a very, very strong performance here at Dreamhack Tour.
That looked like a piercing sight rail attempt potentially. So quick round the corner. Oh, that fresh 2v1.
Agent almost managed to fight back a little bit there. We've got 25 seconds, and now Base and Agent have got to make sure they do not give up this position. I think you can see Rafa and Dahang are trying to formulate a strategy to making it into this room somehow. But here they come.
Full steam ahead with the LG, but Agent, and that'll actually look like 2 nail guns back to back. Agent getting the double kill. This should allow a comfortable amount of control. They're going to be off the spawn. I think they can fight one more time. Looks like Rafa actually getting a pummel kill. And is that going to be enough? Base almost dead, but getting the damage once more. Has the quad, but didn't have the stack to really fight for it. Agent missing the rail. That's going to be punished with a 2v1. Dahang has the quad damage. And Rafa, again, wait.
Why did Dahang suicide? I think he thought he had the quad.
Yeah, that's bad. I don't know.
That's all right. We're in their first games of the tournament. They're allowed to make these kind of plays.
Maybe he was so hyped that Visor picked up the quad that he just exploded out of excitement.
Oh, Base gets an all-right rocket, but they needed to get that quad damage, and Agent, he put himself with that rail. He had to hit the shot. Oh, he tries to come with the pummel totem combo, but would have got the kill, but it's not going to work out.
It really goes to show how punishing a missed rail can be. That entire situation seemed to be because that rail failed to connect to Dahang running in, because he was weak as well when he collected. That's why he tried to suicide. Because he knew he didn't have a lot of health.
It wasn't that weak. I mean, he was weak, but it was like, I can still survive. I'm Galena, kind of stack. So I don't know. I'm still a bit miffed.
You'll be forever questioning it.
Yeah.
That's the
Until something weird happens, you know.
But as we've been saying that, I do feel like Liquid have been able to they've been able to sort of maintain their consistency, but it's coming down to minimal mistakes actually, minimal crucial mistakes coming out from Liquid, and a couple of misplays coming out from Cyberfight that are giving up certain items that are just allowing that snowball effect to continue.
Oh, just hitting almost nothing with that nail gun. Dahang manages to get a solid roll off 9 frags, make it 8 frags in the lead as Agent gets himself another, and we're setting up for the last protection of the map. Of course, rules of the game, you have 15 minutes max per map, or get to 50 frags. That is the frag limit and the golden number you're chasing. Otherwise, you just need to have the most frags by the 15-minute mark.
And Liquid being the methodical players that they are more than happy playing to a timer. You know, they don't need to rush, they don't need to get the frag limit. They have a lead, they know they have one, 7 frags. That said, if they get protection, which they are just about to collect, we might see that somewhat be closed in a little bit.
That's a perfect rocket to start with. Base is under a bit of pressure, and he hasn't got an item to fall back on, so he's definitely got to watch out a little bit. House Bubble, I would have liked to see him pick up the ammo crate, but he's been called over to get the heavy that is spawning now. So he is now looking and feeling good. He's got the rail and 1 rocket.
Absolutely love the positioning by Team Liquid right there. They knew that Base coming around that corner would be a bad situation. They were comfortably spread out, so even if they did lose someone, it was going to be just 1 target, and with their lead, 1 frag really isn't the end of the world, and especially now Agent obviously went in with a suicide, so that's going to be an even bigger lead. Base undoing the work a little bit.
God,
fantastic
Base.
rocket.
His little twitch reflexes that he's got going on, he's hitting some really awesome stuff at the moment. It's keeping them in the game. This is still going to go down to the last power, I feel.
One more.
1 rail.
Oh, why not? Thank you very much, Base.
Here we go. 4 frags between them now. It's definitely going to come down to the quad damage right at the end. I don't think we're going to be hitting that 50 mark.
I definitely don't think so either, but you know what? I am more than content with that. Dahang getting a rail though, so looking good for now. It's not over for Cyberfight. They need to really start to maintain this. One for one. They can't take that. They need more.
Rockets, still very good rockets from Base. Looking for the LG to close out, but Dahang is kind of weak at the moment. We've got 30 seconds till the power-up spawning. Now that Agent and Base are on a fresh spawn, they need to start finding a way. Okay, let's get ourselves over to the power-up really, really soon.
The danger is that they're actually in between the power-up spawning now. Liquid are starting to run away with it once again. So even by the time the power-up is collected, will it be too little too late? That's the concern.
You might be absolutely right. Although we had a string of great plays from Cyberfight, having an early setup in power-up room on Blood Run is so important. It's not the same for every map. Sometimes the early setup is not favorable, but it's definitely favorable on this map.
They're going to give it their absolute all to try and take this quad damage. Base just piling in. Agent with the rail.
That's such an important rail shot, but is the base anywhere? He gets the kill anyway. It's still not over right now. He's only on 85 points of health. He's looking for any kind of extra stack that he can get. He knows exactly where the players are.
40 seconds to do it.
Let's go.
40 seconds and a quad damage.
It's a lot to ask for. 7 frags is a lot, when you, especially when you want to hold spawns. There's a totem, but base, you just need to take the risks at this point.
Oh, he's missing the rails. You can't be missing these shots. Every single missed rail is a frag that is left on the table. And there's not a lot of time left. 20 seconds and this map's going to be over. And now the quad's gone. I wonder if it's even possible.
Yeah, well, they managed to get themselves over to the 40 mark, which is decent. But again, I really feel like, you know, he played a power-up run very well for a normal power-up. But this is the last power-up when you got 30 seconds to make your frags
Was
back.
that a point-blank rail?
I think it was.
that looked like a straight-up execution right there. But that was a map that I think Cyberfight can definitely work with.
Yeah, that was very, very surprising actually from Base Nation. We saw some nice highlights from Base. I feel like maybe Rafa and Dahang are sort of growing into the game a little bit. I was expecting a more dominant performance from them, but they still come out with the W. We move over to the second map in a few moments, and we can still see Liquid get the 2-0 quite possibly.
I just looked at the stats at the end of that screen right there. 20 frags each for Agent and Base.
That's
even
not bad.
work, a nice amount of even work done right there. But to be honest with you, I think it just came down. In fact, I think there was like 7 frag difference right there, and combined with the quad at the very end. We talked earlier about, I think, the fact that Liquid were able to maintain really, really consistently good, but there were a couple of really crucial errors that led to a couple of power-ups being dropped, which actually is where a lot of the frags come from. Kind of puts into perspective the fact that because there was only really 7 frags of a difference, had Cyberfight stayed, I think, on the level with Team Liquid the entire game and those mistakes weren't made, it could have been down to like maybe 1 frag, maybe not even that.
Yeah, no, it would have been extremely, extremely close. I think we're going to go off for a very, very short break, from what I've heard, and we will get into the second map in just a few moments, guys, where we'll continue Cyberfight versus Team Liquid.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Quake 2v2 Open at Dreamhack Tour, where we have 1-0 right now for Team Liquid versus Cyberfight. We're about to go into our second map. I think Cyberfight actually looked really strong versus these guys.
They were looking pretty good, actually. I think nicely warmed up from the first game where they went up against Serious Strengths and got a fairly convincing victory, I'd say, on that side. And suffered a small loss, like 47-40 in favor of Team Liquid. We are going to be moving over into a Team Liquid map. I believe it is Corrupted Keep, where things could get a little different. We saw quite a slow pace on Blood Run, even though it can be fast and frantic. But when you're on Corrupted Keep, there's usually only one style of play you're going to get there, unless you have someone like Cooler on the server, where it could be 5 minutes for one frag, but that can happen literally no matter what map with Cooler. That's the magic that he brings.
Well, I think it's funny you should mention that Corrupted Keep, kind of sort of like demands how things could get a bit more interesting, because obviously the Corrupted Keep as a map is, very much, it's one of the smallest maps. It was the smallest, and then Awoken's out, and that's kind of like, very similar. The new map in the rotation that we tend to see. But Keep also with Team Liquid as the subject interests me, because we see sometimes some unique champion choices. There's no getting around the fact that Dahang, he's always been one that likes to go with what he thinks works, and I feel like Team Liquid very much are meta setters, they know how to explore the game, they know how to find things that work for them, and if they think something works, they'll use it, regardless of whether everyone else agrees with them, regardless of whether everyone else is even doing that. These guys aren't afraid to do it. And the reason I say that is because sometimes we see Strog get selected. I don't know what the champion lineup has been right now, but we'll soon to find out. In 3 seconds, this map is going to get underway.
Absolutely. You did mention to me a moment ago that we could be seeing Strog in the map. Let's have a look to see if that is indeed happening. It is. We have got the hang on it.
And he goes in with Pika. Oh, he goes down. Thank you very much, Dahang.
There it is. First blood of map 2 will go from Pika. This is the newest champion in Quake Champions, Strog and Pika, where Pika is like a sort of secondary character you can summon when your ability is up. You can kind of use him as a sort of cruise missile almost to do up to 100 damage. We can see the start now already far quicker on Corrupted Keep, where we're already 3 for 1, make it 3 for 2, and Dahang hoping he doesn't get traded back.
Now there are 2 maps that we see Dahang go for Strog and Pika quite consistently. They're Awoken and Corrupted Keep. The reason it's picked so often is basically because Strog and Pika is excellent for both survivability, because obviously it's passive, and this reason right here. Basically, it's a matter of causing Pika to appear. If you're going to go around a corner where normally it's very risky to do so, or if someone's around the corner, maybe I'll die, send Pika around there, both get the knowledge, get the vision, and 3 damage. If that kamikaze connects, it's 100 damage they can do nothing about.
Absolutely. I'm going to stay on board with Dahang now. He's just managed to get himself the heavy armor. Rafa did go down, so he's going to wait for his respawn, and then he's going to be ready to move forward afterwards. Rafa is trying to move into the algae room himself, but as Dahang sees that base is suicided after that kill, he decides, right, I'm going to head forward. I'm going to try and get a little bit of control in the algae room, and now we can start to get our positions going for the upcoming quad damage.
And the fight on this map for quad is really dangerous. Floor is lava, boys. Now, because the quad appears right out in the open, right near rocket launcher, it is one of the riskiest power-ups to try and take.
It is, and contrary to Blood Run, you're likely to see far more...
My God, Agent! That was insane!
I was going to say, you're far more likely to see late setups onto the power-ups on this map. And it didn't actually make a difference that time, because we saw so many good shots from Agent and Base. He moves away just as the heavy spawns, and he isn't able to hold control of the room. Dahang and Rafa decided to attack the heavy armor regardless, which is extremely brave of them. Base and Agent have got to expect these sort of maniacal rushes a little bit more.
Now, this champion lineup, it's particularly effective in 2v2 on this kind of map, because you have Galena totems with the healing ability, plus Strog's passive, where whenever he gets a frag, a health vial drops, which actually allows him to heal after death as well. So you can kind of combine that with the totems. Strog has a lot of sustainability.
Okay, Rafa. Nice double kill for himself there. We're looking at 13-7 for the moment. He's about to get Totem back online. He hasn't taken the healing from it, but he's just trying to come in and support Dahang a little bit. He'll tell him which targets are weak, and his LG has been working extremely well.
Yeah, Dahang doesn't want to overextend too much. Let's just sort of keep them at arm's reach. make it 2v1 as often. And if they're almost able to take them out one at a time, they're going to be somewhat staggering those respawns. So even if you're fresh off the spawn, you're not going to have a lot of weapons to actually take the fight. And there goes Pika again, but actually, look like Pika got not necessarily stuck, but I'm not actually sure what happened there.
I could see the Hang was using it, and he was kind of in a sort of camouflaged form, but he was standing right in front of an enemy, so I'm surprised he didn't take a little bit more damage then. LG versus LG against base. They kind of break away, not concluding the fight there.
Well, one thing Pika does do actually is, I think, split your attention to a degree. Oh, that looked like a very nice direct. But Pika, I think, splitting the attention, that basically is a 3 versus 2 in that situation. You kind of want to shoot at the Strog, but the Pika's going to basically do 100 damage to you, plus Ratha's there. Like, it's who do you target in that spot?
No, exactly.
Here we go!
Oh! Only 25 from it this time. Rafa does manage to take that base. Raining rockets from above does get a little bit of damage from it, but I will check out Rafa, who's got protection now. He's got 140 health, and he's going to be pretty damn hard to kill.
Absolutely, and he's surrounded in health bubbles. That's one thing Corrupted Keep isn't short of. It's health all over the map. Certain locations where there's like 3 in close proximity plus Galena totems, if you've got protection, you're just not going to die.
Yeah, and picking up another kill on Agent, closing out protection with control in the Mega Room. This is really perfect play from Rafa at the moment, but Agent and base, they managed to just get their last second attack, and they're starting to realize, all right, we really need to be on point, attacking onto these items as and when they're starting to spawn.
Unfortunately, it's not like what we saw on Blood Run, though, where it was close for pretty much 3/4 of the map, and then Team Liquid started to really sort of inch away. Less than 5 minutes, we have a 10 frag difference. That's a great situation for Liquid to be in, and that was deletion.
Agent managed to get all that extra damage going with the totem. We see base here. I think he just sensed that the Pika was coming out. He looks for a mid-air, but the Hang is going to be able to close that kill. Rafa supporting on Agent, and another big stack with the Hang to work with as they put this attack onto the heavy armor. Oh, gets the rocket in time, just before the heavy spawns. Another direct rocket with 30 for 16. As you're saying, it's a totally different story, and the score's really just extending and extending for Team Liquid.
Oh my, dang. Here comes Pika again. More damage, and it just goes to show that on these small maps where you can almost get that check around the corner without having to put yourself in harm's way. And not only are you getting the knowledge, because you know they're going to be there, it's damage you have to check. You have to watch out for that Pika. You've got to take him out. If you don't, you're going to take damage that you can't really risk taking, especially now Quad's about to spawn.
Yeah. Oh, it's deadly. I'm going to stick with the Hang as we move over to the second quad of the game. It looks like definitely we won't conclude this by time limit, though, if the Hang and Rafa continue at this sort of pace. Oh my god, the Pika gets one more. Rafa gets a frag as well with the nail gun now. He's got the mega health to prop him up a little bit more. The Hang going through the teleporter first in case there happens to be a totem there that he can absorb the damage. And Rafa's able to just, you know, move freely forward and try to get more kills.
Rafa with the quad obviously switching to the nail gun. Just needs one, but isn't able to land the mark because those long-range nails, if you can actually see them coming, it's kind of easy to dodge, really. But it's no wonder Rafa made the switch. Good sequence again. Excellent sequence, and Liquid just looking even more in control. 20 frags separate these two teams.
And Rafa realizes he can't push his way into the mega health, but you know what? His defense afterwards is perfect. Agent and base are... they don't know how to make it into this. The coordination on the items from Rafa to Hanger are brilliant. Those extra attacks, as you say, were from Pika have also been fantastic. And following from that, I think the combat skills haven't been keeping them up.
Unfortunately, it just kind of goes from bad to worse, too. I mean, they're just maintaining this level of absolute dominance throughout this whole map. I know that whenever we see Liquid play on this map, they just look like they're on an entirely different level. Like, this is one of their strongest 2v2 maps, I feel.
Well, we got 40 seconds until protection is up. We're going to get another attack on this. I mean, at the rate they're going...
Here he comes! Oh my god, and he's still got damage. Like, I gotta say, Pika is not easy to control when you're going that fast. The fact that the Hang has even the Pika accuracy to land those hits as consistently as he is, really impressive stuff.
So if you... with Pika, and you go into the ability mode where you're charging out your opponent to do damage, if you hit sort of a corner or a little bit of the wall or something like that, you'll immediately explode and you won't do damage to your opponent unless they happen to be right next to where you explode. And it goes really, the acceleration is nuts as well. So the Hang, well rehearsed, as you'd expect, well practiced. And let's move up. Oh my god, the collateral.
They just need one more frag at this point, and with the protection, that's all she wrote, folks. Pack it in. Team
Wow.
Liquid are going to be qualifying for day 2 in extremely dominant fashion.
Now that was just over 10 minutes of almost pure frags happening from Dahang and Rafa. Not the same story we saw on Blood Run, which was a very sort of interesting, slow clash of styles and strategy. This one was really, as you say, was a bloodbath.
I feel like, to be honest with you, this is something I kind of expected to see. I'm not saying that Pika and Strog were, you know, the defining factors. It's just Liquid being amazing on this map, their coordination, how they choose to take those attacks, you know, times to go in, times to essentially either get out and support each other. It's something that Team Liquid do, unlike most teams, you know, to an entirely different level. But also, Strog and Pika in particular, like, if you've fought these guys, you're going to have a little bit of experience. I don't really know how often these guys had been scrimming before. I know that Team Liquid were, they've been here for a long time playing a lot of the teams to get some practice in, but how much experience did these guys have versus Pika on that map?
With Strog and Pika, they probably would have been trying them out since it came out in the last patch, but you know, as a unit, Rafa and Dahang have been practicing for a few months now in 2v2, so their work is really paying off over there. And again, as you say, I think it's really the fluency in their coordination that really held onto it there. I think that Cyberfight actually got discouraged after the first power-up. They didn't manage to get onto that heavy. Base and Agent weren't expecting a rush to the quad carrier that they knew was going to be over at the heavy armor. And they're like, why? They felt like there wasn't that respect there that you'd normally earn if you're a quad carrier. And from that moment on, it seemed like Cyberfight doubted themselves a little bit. However, it's not going to be the last time that Cyberfight are playing. Of course, they'll move down to the lower side of the GSL bracket.
You know what that means, Zoo?
That means another rematch between Thunderhawk and Cyberfight. I'm very, very interested what's going to happen there, because I feel like Thunderhawk have been